my things are a couple things. I love doing research. Like that's my most favorite part of doing stuff is doing research, digesting the research into something that's usable. Before I digest it and write a book, have all this big jumble of research, then I kind of make, just like how they make wool. You have the sheep, then you have this big pile of wool, then you're at your thing, kind of making the wool that you can use to knit a sweater or whatever. So that's with me. I have this big jumble of research that I then take and break down to something that's usable, so I can write a story. Whether it's a book or a museum, or a magazine article, or in this sense, a museum exhibit. So that's kind of the first part I like. The second part is the community outreach. Just like me talking to my dad. My dad's 85, so at some point I won't have that resource to talk to, and I think that's how it is everywhere. People, it's the unfortunate fact of being human. We all pass away at some point, and one of the greatest loss of life is one thing, but one of the greatest things that we lose is memory. Is that memory that people have. So one of the things that I want to do is talk to more people, get more oral histories, so that we can preserve those memories and thoughts about being in Kenora, living in Kenora. We had one woman come in today from Kuwait, and she outlined, because Kuwait used to have different days, days of the summer, they'd have different parades. And she said, well, this parade was done by this people, this one was done by this person, this one, they'd have, I didn't know that, and when she passed away, which would be really sad, that could be lost because no one else might not remember that. So part of my thing is where I want to have, where we're interviewing people, talking to people, getting those histories and preserving them. Because they're things you're not going to really find in a newspaper article or a government account or a title search. It's the stories of the community. So that's one of the big things is community outreach and the stories, having those stories saved. One of my books that I wrote was called Forgotten Heroes. It's about Winnipeg hockey history, because everyone in Winnipeg only thinks of hockey as being the Winnipeg Jets. And I'm like, no. There was, 100 years of hockey in Winnipeg before the Jets, when they won Stanley Cups, gold medals at the Olympics, all this greatness. But it was forgotten because everyone focused on the new shiny car, the Jets. So that's what I kind of want to do with this. Instead of forgetting history, remembering history. And probably the third thing I really want to do is with more younger people. There's the thought that history is boring. It's something you just do in school. It's not interesting. But in reality, learning about history can be very exciting. It can be interesting. So it's kind of developing that where people get more interested in local history, maybe even getting them involved in researching more Kenora history, but not making the museum, and I'm in the museum specifically, to make it feel like it's more accessible to people, because sometimes you get kind of you get quiet. It's like going to a library, you're not supposed to be loud and not somewhere you go all the time. So it's just sitting, it's trying to make it more accessible where people feel more free to come and go without, it's not a special event to go to the museum, oh, it's Friday, I'm just going to go to the museum to look around, which is one of the best parts. If you have a museum membership, you can come anytime, look around a bit, talk to us. So yeah, it's making history more accessible, interesting, kind of break down some barriers with that, which unfortunately there is. And maybe even I harbored them at one point, but because because when we're in school, we learn about fur traders and this and that, which part of our history here is that, but we have so much more. Kenora history, Lake of the Woods history especially, you can probably pinpoint that anything that happened in Canada happened here. Whether it's winning Stanley Cups, whether it's lumber, paper, dams, like anything that, anything that happened in Canada, railway expansion of the West, gold mine. We had one of the biggest gold rushes in Canada at one point on Lake of the Woods. So the area is just ripe with history to tell and get interested about. So, yeah.